Hello traders, this is Art Dill, your emini success coach for futurestradingcompany.net, and a recap of our trading for March 7th, 2012. This was a much different day than yesterday. The market did move up to higher ground later in the day and finish with a nice gain. We did have 7 trades today. On the Dow, there were no NQ trades. We were 5 and 2, and we were a net plus 46 Dow points. So all in all, a very good trading day. And I want to spend just a moment or two on the first 2 trades today, and something that you have not seen on the charts until just recently, and that is the tricks here at the bottom of my chart with a negative 0.3 and a positive 0.3 dashed line on here. And I use the tricks as a filter for trigger trades. And as I'd said in another video here this week, I believe, after reviewing the trading since the first of the year, it was apparent to me that the market definitely had changed somewhat in character. And I needed to be taking more of the trigger trades opportunities that were presented earlier. And so that's how I'm using the tricks to do that. And I'm going to post a video on exactly what I'm looking at on the tricks here to either validate or invalidate a trigger. And I just want to go over this. The first trade I took today was actually a breakout trade. It was after the open. And here was the pivot that was put in prior to the open. Then the market opened, rallied up a little bit, came back down to this level, then rallied back up a little bit. And this is a breakout trade. This would not have been a valid trigger trade short. It was strictly a breakout trade that I took. We got short at 12,761. I really thought that the market might go ahead and continue the sell-off of yesterday, but it didn't. And here is a valid trigger, long, that we took. And this got us out of our short trade at 12,761. 2 contracts. I was out long on a reversal at 12,766, and I got 7 and 11 points on that trade. And I want to say just one more thing about this. In the past, this year, since the first of the year, we would not have been in this trade. I would have been waiting for the price and the Hall moving average to move above our 89 EMA test of the 89, and then heading back higher before I would take a long trade. And so that is a major change in our trading, taking entries much sooner. So on the first trade at 12,761, I exited that, stop out 5 points on 2 contracts, so I was negative 10 points. On the second trade of the day, which was a trigger entry, we were plus 7 and plus 11. And then the third trade I took was at 6:53 in the morning, Pacific time. And that was another trigger trade. Here it is. And we got long at 12,774. And I got both contracts. I was going for 7 and 11 points on those. And I got both of those, 781, 785 for 7 and 11 points. Here's our contact information, everyone. If you want to come into the room and watch us trade this in real time, watch me put my entries in the trading dome, watch them get filled, and watch me put my stops in, you'll know exactly where I'm at. And I am very, very excited about the change in the trading to start taking these triggers earlier. Here's our contact information. get onto the website, sign the guest book. I'll make sure you get the webinar ID, or just give me an email, info@eminisuccesscoach.com. Let me know that you want to be in the room, and I'll make sure you get the information. This was the fourth trade we took this morning. It was at 7:45 Pacific time, and the trigger fired right here, and that entry would have been 12,767. Only got 6 points. So, but I took it as a breakout trade. I took a breakout of this pivot right here, and that's where I got short 12,763. And fortunately, soon after we got into that trade, guess what? A trigger entry, 12,773. So we lost 10 points on that trade on 2 contracts, or 20 Dow points, and on this entry at 12,773. And the way I'd been trading before, I might have taken that as a long, but it would not have been an automatic entry. With how I'm using the tricks filter and my triggers now, that's an automatic entry. And we were in at 12,773, and again I got 7 and 11 points on that trade. And that was all the trades in the morning. You're seeing a lot more lines on the chart that I normally show you. I'll briefly explain them. The long dashed green line is the 30-minute range low. The long dashed red line is the 30-minute range high. And then the purple lines I use for intraday support and resistance lines. That's what the purple lines represent. And here you are coming up to, this was the Globex high, that's the small dashed red line. And then the solid yellow line is the daily pivot. And I guess there's nothing more to be said about the daily pivot. Everyone should know what that is. So let me scroll over here down to our next trade, which wasn't until the afternoon. And just real quickly, when you see the yellow arrow here next to the trigger, the green trigger, that's a valid trigger long. That would have gotten 10 points. This is a valid trigger short, and that would have eventually gotten at least 1 target. I didn't take either one of those. This is the trigger I took right here. It was a trigger entry, and once again, the way we'd been trading since the first of the year, I would not have been taking this as a long. We did today 12,818, and let me tell you what we did. We took this with 3 contracts, and the reason I took it with 3 contracts, it was back at the daily pivot. It was at a prior what I now considered support level, and it was back at the Globex overnight high. So a lot of support here. I expected support, and so we took this with 3 contracts. We got in at 12,818. I got one off at 12,823, 5 points. I got one off at 12,818, which was 10 points. And then the final contract off at 12,883 for 15 points. So a very nice trade in the afternoon, plus 30 points on that trade. Again, the arrows just represent what would be valid trigger entries. I didn't take either one of those, and the long never triggered. I mean, we got the setup, but it didn't break that trigger bar high. This is the trigger I did take, and I will tell you, let me bring this down. This was, at the time I took this trade, this was our high. The high was at 12,838 at this time. So I wasn't thrilled with this as an entry. The trigger bar was 12.829, so my entry would have been 12.830. Did not like that entry at all. I wanted to have room to get at least 10 points with my stop one tick below the high of the day at the time. So I put an order in to one contract only at 12.827. I got that filled, and then I was able to get the 12.837 target, which is what I was going for. And I was actually trailing that with a 10-point trailing stop. But once we got in, the trade basically worked right away. And again, this was a valid short trigger, which would have gotten a target. This is a valid long trigger, certainly got targets. This short, I would have taken at a pivot and never broke out. And then this long would have been a valid long trigger. But of course, I was not taking any trades that late in the day. And in fact, that would have ended up with a loss. None of these triggers actually here were valid triggers. So a very, very good trading day, everyone. I am absolutely excited about the change in how we're taking the trades. So come into the room, see this happen live in real time. Hope to see you in the room soon.